hear me? Can you see me?
We can
Yeah.
see and hear you.
Good. I don't know what's happening today, but it's technical call problems keep happening to me. So I'm just gonna blame it to, I don't know, the universe or someone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, so Max is having the same problem. His Zoom quit on him and he had to join on his phone.
Yeah.
So something's going down, man.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I'm not a big Zoom fan, I guess. I go strictly with the Google Meet. So when Meet is down, you can always easily find another link and another
Yeah.
link and just share it around.
Yeah. We use Google, we use Zoom. I'll tell you primarily because I run a software requirements and design firm. Drawing on the screen is so necessary when you're trying to talk about
Mm,
things. Zoom
mm.
has that. So we use Zoom primarily for that
Yeah,
reasoning.
yeah, yeah. There's good benefits, but sometimes it's just like hard to work with it.
Yeah.
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 Can relate, definitely. So yeah.
So hi
Um,
Tyler, hi Alan, Gavin, Ofer.
hello, hello.
Howdy.
Yeah. Uh, please give us a couple minutes. So I'll use the time to reinstall the Zoom, and meanwhile we will wait for a couple more folks to join the call. And yeah, we'll kick things off with a small intro presentation.
Yeah,
And yeah, after that, we would talk about Clue. Uh,
great. So Max, you're going to start by reinstalling Windows 95, and then you want to go from there.
uh, yeah, you know the only operating system that I have not used like since I'm like I've tried almost all Linux distributors at some point, and the only operating system that I have not tried yet was the Mac OS. So yeah,
Yeah,
I guess Windows XP is my favorite. Like I can't say that, but from the like kind of usability standpoint, I guess that was the um, like the golden age
the
when
gold.
like everything been like extremely simple, and I was like 10 years old, and I've been like, yeah, that's a perfect thing. Like not, like everything works because you don't need anything basically, just like your
You
small
need DOS
game and like
drivers. You
maybe
just need
yeah
those
yeah
DOS drivers working. And that was
yeah.
back when they were pushing out updates to support USB, right? So
Wow.
you could buy a USB printer, which was crazy talk from going from the parallel port, you know,
Um,
uh, connection. Tyler, you're nodding. I think you remember these days too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember this well.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't, for the love of God, don't accidentally unplug the printer or your modem during anything, or you're just going to have to turn the computer off.
Yep. It was bad news.
Oh man. Kids these days will never know.
Yep.
Yeah, I was lost. Gen Z right here lost you. I'm just
Um,
like doing this and pretending I have
no,
understanding.
no, there was a day when you couldn't plug and unplug things in your computer without turning it off. That's the short story. And if you
That
accidentally
sounds
unplugged it,
sad.
it came off part way because you had these 25 pin connectors, and if you didn't screw it in, then it might accidentally come out and kiss goodbye to whatever you were doing on the computer, or hope to God you could save something before it crashed on you. So yeah, that was like renegade cowboy coding in the extreme.
Yep. So many drivers. Oh God, there were drivers. Drivers for days.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we're on to bigger and better things. AI is going to fix all the problems these days, and I, I'm I'm sure those days are long behind us.
Is this the Commodore 64 user group meeting? So-
Oh, Matt, are you on dial-up?
Yes, sorry, it's a little choppy with the 2400 baud modem
Oh,
that
that's
I'm
right.
using.
It's well, I have this new company called AOL. I'm gonna have them send you a CD in the mail. Try out. It'll be a little easier to connect. My God, everybody's dating themselves here. By the way, Matt, so the Matt who just spoke, he and I grew up in the same town. But Matt, I went to a Commodore computer club in the neighboring town in Vestal, New York,
Mm-hmm.
while I
I,
was there. I don't know if you knew that, but
no, I didn't know
okay.
that.
Well,
I
your
missed.
statement about the Commodore computer club hit close to home. That was
I had it. I had the VIC-20. I had the Commodore. I love the Commodore 64. I had an Amiga at a certain point. So,
oh
yep,
man,
big fan. Big fan.
good times. All right. Well, Max, can you hear?
Yeah,
We can hear you
yeah.
now. Good.
Everything's fine. So are we recording right now?
We are. We recorded
Yes.
all of this conversation. It's
Oh,
golden.
that's
Golden
awesome.
conversation. Who
Yeah,
would not want to have this on the recording?
yeah. We'll keep that. I guess that
Yeah.
like that was like a fine fine conversation. Okay. So yeah,
Perfect for-
yeah. So yeah, everything's fixed. Everything's working right now. So yeah, we are good to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 16th community call at AI Product Hive. And today we will be talking about AI search engine for your work applications. So please bear in mind that the call will be recorded. So yeah, think twice before dropping your secret keys or sharing the passwords on your screen. So yeah. This is a short agenda for today, the intro presentation, the clue.so demo, and the short discussion afterwards. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if there will be any questions, probably we'll mix those things together. So meet Sandra. Sandra is a Chief Marketing Officer at Clue. She runs the podcast at morningmarketmakershow.com. Sorry, so I've been listening to one of the episodes a couple hours ago. That was like really impressive. So yeah, and Sandra ran a product hunt campaign last Friday. So that was like really successful. If I'm not mistaken, you've ended up in top 4 products of the day, right, Sandra?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fantastic. And yeah, like since I'm following her for some time, I know that like the Slack ad with random animals in the office is one of her favorite ads. Do you mind talking a bit more about what the ad was? Or like maybe you had the link to that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in marketing, and you always kind of try to go back to the things that have influenced you. And one of the things I remember, like the Slack marketing campaign, it's just a random campaign that makes no sense, and in the same time makes perfect sense somehow. With random animals in the office trying to communicate their best ways and not managing it, and then Slack comes into the story making the best out of it. So that's me kind of in nutshell.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, if you will if you will have the link, would be cool if you would be able to share that, because like I'm curious what that is actually. So yeah. And yeah, at this point, please also let's check out Clouseau. So yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen. So yeah, please take the stage from here, Sandra.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Thank you for having me here. I can tell probably more about Clue, and then kind of like introduce Clue and show you Clue around. But yeah, a year ago we started building primarily search engine, and it kind of like we wanted to connect all of the cloud-based apps into one search bar, so the users are able to search everything from their cloud-based apps. And now we are talking about Slack and Notion and Gmail, multiple accounts from each of these apps. And that's how it started. And primarily it worked by the keyword search and indexing the pages and etc. And that was somewhere in the December last year. And as we all know, kind of like this ChatGPT AI hype came to everyone's ability to try somewhere in like January and February. And it was kind of perfect timing for us because people were able to experience, the power of AI by themselves and see like how differently we are able to search or come to the information easier. So for us, it was always about getting to the thing you need or to the source information without knowing where it is. It could be a Gmail, it could be a Slack message, a Notion page, or whatever. And then when the AI or like when ChatGPT became a thing, we saw a huge spike and people actually using it differently than, or searching for the information differently than before. So it wasn't only about finding the source of the information, but it was actually finding that particular information in the source of the information. So what I'm trying to say is that Clue Act. So then we also decided to implement that kind of idea. Now that we have all of these apps and information in one app, and talking just about Slack and Notion and Gmail, Clue acts like a bridge to all of this and bringing them all together. Then why wouldn't we implement AI into this? So the user has ability to just ask a question from their internal data and information. And that pretty much means, asking a question, what was said in that email, or what is the update for this product or this feature, and etc. So then that was somewhere like in April, we already had idea of where we want to go and how we want to implement the AI in Clue with this like search idea in general, just like bringing this Google idea, but for your internal data, and then combining that with AI, so you can freely ask any questions from your cloud-based apps pretty much from one place. Then we launched on Product Hunt in April, got a bunch of feedback, the platform failed. That's kind of like a classic thing, when you get an enormous amount of people in one go and you expect that the best is happen, usually the worst happens. So it crashed multiple times and, like all of these things. And but one thing happened is that people kind of understood what we are trying to do. And we kind of understood that we are going in the right direction when it comes to the problem itself. So explanation of the problem wasn't that hard. It's how we implement technically the solution for it. And Clue at the moment, so yeah, at that time we were kind of targeting the personal users just to collect the feedback. And then we started piloting with the enterprise companies in order to understand the problems they have. And the problem in the enterprise action is much bigger in that sense, because there's a lot of information, different departments, and most of the information get lost or get old kind of into the spam of the company. So now we are piloting Clue into enterprises and trying to figure out how to help them in the same time. Was I good? Was that good?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, basically, I think the whole premise of like using the AI to combine all the data sources is like something that a lot of people tried to implement at some point, but not a lot of them succeeded at that. So yeah, since you've launched a successful campaign and Clue is thriving right now, at least from what I know, guess you've done that right. So yeah.
Yeah, like technically talking, it's extremely hard, because essentially, like in some sense, AI, or how I see it, is like a text generator. So the more information or better information you have and give it to them, it's going to generate something. And it works with Clue as well. When users search something, we try to kind of match the results, and then from the results pull the information and then translate that to AI, and then kind of get the reply or the response to the question asked. So it also like is very important for the companies that, or like the project or the piloting that we are having with the companies, is also extremely important for them to understand that in order for AI to work, or for Clue to work correctly and properly, it's also like their knowledge, and their knowledge needs to be proper, or like the quality of the knowledge or information and data they have stored in their cloud-based apps. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So would you mind sharing the
Yeah,
app itself?
I need to share my screen. Share screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, so very simple search bar here. And then here you can see all the like recent things open. And then here are connected apps which we have. So we are talking about, in my case, Google Calendar, Google Drive with multiple different accounts, Gmail as well, and then Notion. As you can see right now, we are indexing Notion pages. So, and then there's Slack. So interesting part of the Notion, actually, Notion was one of the hardest things to crack and how it works, because it's in Notion, there's multiple things happening all the time. So there's a lot of things that are changing in the platform itself anytime someone adds things to pages or updates it, and etc. So if now when we know that all of these things are connected and there's more apps we have, so at the moment there's Gmail, Google Drive, Calendar, Trello, Notion, Slack, OneDrive, Outlook, and Dropbox, and working on other apps. But these are the most used apps of the companies that we are kind of targeting and going for. So yeah, now that search bar works on two principles of the way of searching. Either you're gonna search by the keywords, or you're gonna ask the question. If you're searching by the keywords, it means that, like from marketing to do whatever. Now what we are doing is trying to match by the right keywords, and then you have multiple results where the marketing is mentioning by. But if you want to ask the question like, what is Clue tagline? In pitch deck, it's a totally different way of searching. So now we are trying to match the keywords with the data information we have, and then from this data information trying to ask the question. So in this process, this is the search page, or you can see all the results. And now when I've asked the questions, we are trying to index the information that there is potential where this question is stored. And the AI will kind of try to give us reply. So it's at the search engine powered by AI, and then it gives you a source of this information where you can click on it and it's going to lead you to the source information. But the whole idea is that the user, and now imagine if you have Clue in the companies, what it does essentially is allowing people to ask questions without going, or like without them needing to go and read multiple files or wherever the information is stored. So yeah, was that good?
Yeah, so basically it's like an kind of interactive knowledge base. So for example, if we are working on the kind of big SaaS project and we do have some documentation there, new people that will join the team, they can easily like ask different questions as they go, and get answers via that AI-powered search bar, and basically interact with our knowledge base on the fly. So that's the whole premise, right?
Yeah, like right now, the goal is actually what we are doing with the companies is putting Clue into two different departments that are kind of connected. So in this case, let's talk about like marketing and the product teams. There is always a middleman in these teams that is moving the information from one team to another, or answering the questions or giving them updates on what is happening. So what we are trying to do is kind of like exclude that middleman. So all the data information is already stored somewhere. Usually, when it comes to the communication, it's Slack. When it comes to knowledge management, it's Notion. Then there's a bunch of things happening in Google Drive, but the informations are there. And the issue is like, how do you find them? You can use search through Clue. But then the second thing is like, not only trying to find the source of the information, but actually getting the response you need from this information. So what we are trying to do is, if you are talking about the marketing and the product team, marketing team asking what is the latest update on this feature, or what is happening here, or writing a new blog about the new feature, they don't actually need to go to the product team and ask them questions or anyone else. They can check it from Clue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like, because for example, like during my working activities, when I need to find some data, usually I'm going to pretty big, I'd say, knowledge base, and try to find different information there, like going through the docs. So yeah, like that feels like a business that is mostly B2B focused. So yeah, and guess that's solving a major issue with those like bigger knowledge bases, at least at huge enterprise companies. And you are certified, if I'm not mistaken, right? So like mhm. So Clue can be used in the in the enterprise environment, right?
Yeah. So when we started, at the beginning, we knew that the security and the privacy will be the biggest issue we're gonna stumble on, especially if we move to the company. So we started getting the certifications quite early on, and it takes a lot of time. I have to say, I don't know if anyone is in this area. It takes months to get this certification, and we finally got one in December. We are talking about SOC 2. We got finally in December the SOC 2 certification, which is kind of there's still a lot of stigma and trying, there's, especially when you go to the companies trying to get these negotiations, because they're very afraid of their data and information, and we are still very small startup in their mind. So having this certification can be really helpful.
Yeah, like that definitely should work, because like from what I've seen, at least in the like from what people are sharing on the social media, is that like the biggest concern about this type of applications that are collecting and transforming the data is basically the privacy. So like almost the single thing that people are afraid of is that their data would be basically like thrown by ChatGPT into some random prompt after somebody will ask ChatGPT to write like a word 1,000 times. So that was like the exploit that I guess was popular like a month ago. People were like simply asking ChatGPT to like write a word 1,000 times, like one word, and at some point ChatGPT started to break and like been throwing the data that it's been trained on, and obviously it contained a lot of private information, a lot of like stuff that shouldn't be there, like conversations with other people, etc. So yeah, I guess that's the security concern is like the primary one, and since you've solved that, that shouldn't be an issue to be adopted by the market. And yeah, since like you are like kind of consuming a lot of information and data sources, how if you know, of course, how the process works under the hood. So for example, we've got Notion, and you are connecting to Notion via the API, and then like you're pulling it and storing in the vector database, or like how's the process works under the hood?
Yeah, so bear in mind, this is a marketing person talking to you about very technical things. So I hear, I learn, and I learn fast. So trust me. But yeah, so how it works. Anytime someone connects the app, we start with indexing data information from these apps. I have been told. And then when it comes to the, all of these we are indexing them, then there is an encryption process. And this was actually very hard for us, because making sure that the privacy and security is in order, there needs to be an encryption process from us from the beginning. And that's what we try to do, or actually doing it. And that means that the search itself is going to be a little bit slower. Then you're going to have the search, let's say in Notion, when you are searching from Notion, then when you're searching from Clue. It's just what it is, and we are not going over that. But then when user is writing a keyword, what we are trying to do is match this keyword. We match these keywords with index pages and then present to them whatever they have been searching for. Where the AI comes into the story is actually only the contents of these keywords that we are pulling. So we are just pulling the chunks of the information, not the whole concept of the information from the indexed pages. So once someone is asking the questions, if you are able to match these keywords from what we have indexed, then we send that chunk of the information and then open the file, generating the reply and giving it to user. Did I miss something?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That makes total sense. So yeah, Bill dropped a question into the chat. So yeah, do you have any slides to explain your technology and market offering? Many of us on this call are visual learners. So yeah, basically the tech presentation, I think. So yeah, I guess if you have that, it would be cool. If not,
Yeah, I probably have some slides I could share from the sales point. I think that could work. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, folks, do you have any questions about the app? Yeah, Tyler, how do you think about maintaining internal information permissions structures as you ingest and index all of this information?
Yeah, so this one is this was pain, especially going into enterprises and the companies. Essentially, what we are doing is whatever permissions you have on your original apps, we're gonna move them to Clue as well. So, talking about the Notion or a Google Drive, whoever can see the files there will be able to see them in Clue as well. Who can't? So the permissions are staying from the original app that we are bringing to Clue.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, also there is something that we are kind of doing, where the admin of the workspace can have its own permissions, not depending of the original app, but the original app stays the same. And then there's multiple different permissions they can have in Clue as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So wait, just to dig into that for a second. So if I have a document and it is, specific to me, it's personalized to me, it's my document, I ingest it into Clue. The admin of my workspace could also see that document overwriting any local permissions that I have?
No, he's just an admin of the Clue workspace. He has nothing to do with your original app permissions.
Okay.
The only thing that admin in Clue workspace, let's say, whoever is leading your team can kind of introduce new apps or allow you to connect or disconnect certain apps, but there's no overwriting the original permissions from the apps that he is bringing in.
Got it. So in essence, everybody has their own index of data.
Exactly. But
okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, please, after.
But I just wanted to say that you are not allowed to bring any or connect into company workspace, your personal workspace. You can have your personal account and search from there whatever you need to find and don't want to share, but you can't actually bring into work environment your own personal, as long it's not, if admin of that workspace allows you to do that, then you can bring it in, but essentially you can't.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
How would that work if the company, for example, has thousands of employees? So for example, my private chat conversations in Slack would be dumped into my personal index, or like there can be a shared workspace and then some of the private information can be stored on top of that?
So with Slack, it depends. The admin of the workspace can allow certain channels to be searchable in Clue. So only certain channels, so we are talking, I don't know, marketing or whatever, but no one can go into your personal chats you had with your teammate about something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the control of the admin. He, the public channels, but not the private channels that you have. The same administration you have in Slack will be the same one in Clue as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, because at some point I've been thinking that you will create like 1,000 different indexes, and I've been like, okay, it sounds like an overhead. But
no,
yeah.
just we have to for the security and the privacy reasons, we have to keep what is on the original app permissions. We can't override that in any case.
Yeah, that's
and then again, like we had the same issues before. Slack is an interesting issue. We had a user connecting his work account to Clue, and then having his admin reaching out to us saying that that's not allowed. So you can't, use your, because you will be able to find things in that sense. So the Slack admin wouldn't allow that things to happen. So it has to go through the company.
Yeah, that makes sense, like from at least the permission standpoint. So yeah, I guess that's the trickiest part when, like, in terms of like building the application that has like those multiple levels of data access. So yeah, that's okay. So yeah, for example, if I would be thinking about running a SaaS business and would decide to integrate Clue into my workflow, how much would I pay, and what would be required from my side, for example, to integrate with Clue? So it's like a one-click integration, or we need to sign something and agree on something, and etc. So what's the onboarding process basically?
Pretty much depends from your side and how big of your team is and the company. If you are running one-man show, you can connect Clue to all of your, you can start now and connect everything in like 5 minutes. It takes some time for us to index all the data and information you have, and then kind of proceed with that. When it comes to team workspaces, then it has to go through us and your company, and then the security that you have in your company, and then so it's a longer process for the team workspaces than for the personal users.
Got it. And yeah, since you are storing like enormous amounts of data, do you mind sharing what the pricing is? Because like I don't remember if there is info on your landing page.
For the personal use is 15 euros on a monthly basis, and then for the companies it depends on how big the team is, how big the company is, how many departments are we including Clue to. But yeah, for the seat, I think it's ranging from like 15 euros to up and more, depending from the company and how big it is.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, because like since you are probably storing enormous amounts of data, that would be quite pricey from the like server standpoint. Yeah, so like honestly, I can't even imagine how much money would it take for like running the AI stuff. And yeah, by the way, are you like able to share? Yeah, are you able to share like how much does it cost to run like a workspace, for example, for 15 people, like the data storage, AI stuff, like etc., or that's like hard to say?
I'm not gonna like go into numbers, but it's quite expensive, and I think we are also right now in position we are trying to figure out how to maximize or minimize all of these expenses, and also trying to not focus so much on the AI itself, and teach users how to search properly and also ask the questions properly, because that means that we're going to hit the user success faster than like them repeating the question and then us generating and generating and generating. So there is a process where you can minimize by teaching them the right and proper way of the search as well. So yeah, it can be expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. So buying a couple of GPUs at some point, I guess, will be considered as an option. Yeah. Okay, folks, do you have any questions about Clue?
I have a question. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for sharing. So this is basically an enterprise search, and you mentioned some AI. I'm sure there is something unique. I mean, there are other platforms for doing enterprise search. What can you maybe elaborate more about what's mostly unique in your solution compared to others?
Yeah, at the moment there is one company that is doing something very similar to us, and they've been on the market for some time now. It's called Glean.com. The thing is, I mean, what we are trying to do, enterprise search is enterprise search. There is not much that you can kind of innovate there. You're trying to bring the solution for the users. But the difference, I guess, between us is that we are still trying to bring that idea that it's a personal Google for everyone, where in this case, Glean is only focusing on the enterprises. And when we are only talking about the enterprises, if you have tried the solutions that are on the market, it's quite and very extensive and complicated in some sense. There is data information that is like shared between multiple departments, and it can get also overwhelming in some case when you are building these internal search, especially for the enterprises. So, you know, what makes us different is actually trying to filter all of these things out and bring what actually people are searching for, and that's it.
Alexander, you've had a question as well.
Yeah, I've been trying to, but there was a lot of questions. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Sandra, for much for presentation. Yeah, I just have been asking myself, do you plan to open it as an API? Like, because why I'm asking? Because every time, like, every time I build some AI agents or like multi AI agent solutions, and when I consult, we actually often going from this space, like it's when we build basically advanced RAG solutions, we need to build like data connectors. We need to go for query transformations, query like routing, like a fusion retrieval, like all that stuff, and it's quite the same, like, and it's kind of building block. And it's if it was already like imagine that if it's already in your system, then why would like people like me build that? Like we could just use it as an API, like Cohere, like they have a semantic search product, like, but they do not have this connectors in place. So you still need to build it stuff, like, but for this enterprise, like workspace search, which is it's happening. Like I currently, like literally right now, have the use case where I build these connectors. So yeah, do you plan to open APIs?
Yeah, the simple answer is yes. We've been planning to do that for a long time, and it's always, you know, the team is still small and we are trying to figure out the things as we go. And I think that's going to be quite soon to open the APIs, because we've been asked a lot and actually had many calls of people just seeing Clue as a bridge to something in their cases. So yeah, it's there, it's in roadmap, and I'm hoping we're gonna, you know, manage to push it as soon as possible. But I understand what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's great. Thank you. And regarding the security, like, do you have it in roadmap, like on-premise data lakes or like or on-premise like a storage solutions? So just it would remove like all the questions about maybe you plan that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, not at this point. We don't have it at this point, but we have discussed it, like what can we do and how to make sure that, you know, especially that the companies have. I mean, Glean does it, and you know, you can see all of people moving in that direction, like localizing whatever they can. So yeah, it's not in the roadmap, but we are thinking about the solution and how can we make it. Yeah.
Because if I've been working with enterprise and obviously they like we had SOC 2, we had like all the due diligence and and it was taking us
Mm.
years to onboard. Like we've been working with the Dutch banks, and so it was taking years to onboard them. But like they've been pushing us for on-premise all the time because they didn't want to share some like data. They didn't want to give us access to a Salesforce directly. But they had so much inside there. I just can't imagine what would happen if it would be possible to put like this like retrieval augmented generation like search solutions on top of their Salesforce. Like yeah, would be huge.
Yeah, it's been trouble for us as well, like figuring out how to deal with them. And then, I mean, the one thing that we are trying to do is going to not taking the whole company or the whole enterprises, but actually including certain departments, as I said, marketing and product teams, and trying to build a solution and relationship between these two departments rather than bringing the whole hierarchy into the clue immediately.
Yeah, by the way, talking about the APIs, Sandra, you probably seen Dmitro Krasun. He's on Twitter and he's like relatively popular in the building public community. So he's built his application screenshot one for like basically making a screenshots for different applications. And I've been following his journey, I guess, since day one. Because like from the beginning, it was like a regular UI tool. So you had to basically use the UI to get the screenshots. And at some point, he decided to introduce an API for his application, and basically clients were able to pull that API to retrieve screenshots of different applications that they want. And like right now, I'm sure like 90% of his income comes from that API. So that was like a vital solution. Yeah, so I've seen that like kind of pivot from his side, like when he decided, okay, I'll need to introduce an API, and after that, like his software like blew up instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a cool experience, and since Alexander
He's a great example of what the API power of it, for sure. I think I also had a discussion with him about this.
Yeah, so yeah, that's like you've had a discussion during the Morning Maker show, or like just in the replies?
Privately, yeah. It was maybe we should bring him to the Morning Maker show, and then he can motivate us more.
Yeah, but that was like a prime example of how API like changed the whole thing for his app. So yeah, glad you're considering that. So yeah, Alexander, thanks for the question. That's maybe it will be vital for Clue as well at some point. But yeah, since you're doing okay right now, no idea how that would point out, but yeah. That's cool. So yeah, folks, does anyone have any questions at this point?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, Bill.
Wait. All right. I'm always the opposite of mute and get confused. But anyway, what I had noticed at the bottom of my Zoom screen here is a thing called whiteboards. So it looks like the people, let's say you're having a walkthrough or a run through, whatever you're talking about on Monday mornings or something. That's my model. And that's why I put in questions like, could you have a whiteboard? And when you're done, you might have the product manager go back and clean it up. The reason you want to have it is because people go on trips and you want them to go run in to make sure you can cement an order for your previous version or another product. So they got to come up and catch back up to the walkthrough or whatever you call it. And you probably want to take the stuff where you just dwelled one place too little. This is, I think, also being, I'm glad Matt's here. There's an Austin group here in town.
Wait, Bill, hold on. I don't quite follow, but let me jump in and ask the question a little bit differently. Does Crew parse out video and things like that? Does it parse video, or is it all text based?
Text-based,
So,
yes.
so there's no audio or transcripts or things like that.
No, not
Is
at
that
the moment. Not at the moment.
okay?
Yeah.
Is that considered for the future? Because I certainly know, for example, at Planorama, we record all of our calls with clients, so we can go back and review. And there are services that go and do this, right? Even Zoom is now doing, not with the whiteboards, but clearly with the transcription, right? So it seems like a perfect opportunity to kind of leapfrog and say, hey, instead of just being able to search search in a particular application, bring the transcript in under your ecosystem, right? And
Yeah,
and
we
do
are actually testing it right now with one company. We're trying to partner up and see if it's going to work, because they do also like it's meeting notes. They join the meeting notes, but what we are care about is actually how they go from the voiceover, from the audio to the text,
Mhm.
and what can we do with that. So yeah, I don't know if you've noticed also now when you're sending on your messages on or audio messages, you always have a generated text under it as well.
Yes,
So there is a way
right.
of doing these things.
That's right.
There is a way of doing these things.
There's also another form of thinking. I noticed in the back of Matt is a Planorama, and I look at it as a whiteboard. But for those of us who are visual, it'd be nice to have sort of a recording. And those who weren't at the meeting, but you really want to get on board, or the one that's going to start helping you go through. I have another thing here they call an AI companion. Everybody seems to be adding that to their product, but if you're in the middle of an AI discussion, a mathematical discussion, if maybe some smart mathematician says, yeah, but there's some sort of correlation program, so you say, well, next time we meet next week, we'll install it and have it think for us or whatever.
Yeah, but Bill, that's not the point of our application. The application that they're working on is something different. They're not trying to integrate in expert LLMs into the mix. They're trying to be able to find.
Aren't you trying to arrive at a decision, Sanders? I mean, how anybody, if they had one out on the and where they mow the lawn or something, and then they got a plan, but how they're going to do that?
Yeah, but yeah, I
Okay.
guess we can ask
Yeah.
Sandra if you'll have them.
Oh,
the
Alan has a question.
Yeah, Alan, I can see like 1 second. So yeah, Sandra, if you'll have the presentation about like Clue, what that is, and probably some like marketing stuff as well, sharing with us would be awesome, so that we
Yeah.
would be able to check that in the background and figure out what's like the place of Clue in the general market right now, so that all the community members would be able to figure out for themselves how they can use Clue. And so yeah, if it happens that you have such a pitch deck, would be cool. We will share that after the call with our community in the general channel. So yeah, I guess that should be helpful for everyone to understand what Clue is and how does that work. So yeah, Alan.
Yeah, I'm
So
in Slack channels now, and I'm in the Slack channels now, so I'll share things. But also, whoever has more questions can reach to me there as well.
Fantastic. So yeah, Alan, sorry for interrupting you.
No, no problem. Yeah, I was intrigued by part of this conversation, but I need to jog my memory a little bit. We were talking about pricing, and then Sandra was talking about, she made a point where they're trying to make it less about AI. And I thought that was like pretty interesting because there's I know there's a big expense to AI, and these are all at the end of the day just productivity solutions. So I just want to double click on that a little bit more. I think I've heard it in other channels as well. How to circumvent the expense of AI but still get somebody the right answer that they're looking for. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, the whole point when we started Clue, it was more before this AI hype thing. And I think it was always about the search and finding the right results. The search is kind of changing, and we are in the midst of it, and we can see how people are differently like experiencing the search and what they are expectations from search. So as I said, there's multiple things we can do as a company to actually teach users how to properly search and how to properly get to the results. Because anytime they fail or we fail, it means that something in the back was trying to generate reply, or something was working and spending money. And then trying to minimize that as much as possible. I think the AI itself is a great, or at least what we are trying to do when we are talking about the AI is just enhancing what we already have rather than focusing on the AI itself so much. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's Clue. I think Clue will always be about the search and getting to the right information. It's just how we get to this information and keeping up with people that are going through this search transition and how they see information, and bringing that to Clue as well at minimized cost as possible.
Yeah, I think if anything, AI and the excitement around AI is giving, I guess, groups like yours, companies, projects like yours, an opportunity to educate their customers on, on how to get what they need. I was just thinking this morning, while I was doing some yoga, I was like, wow, like Web 2.0 was, I don't want to say it was like a fake, but it was just, sort of an interface to what we just really need is productivity solutions, right? AI is at a different level, but still at the end of the day, we're just humans and we're going to do human things, right? And we're going to be frustrated when something doesn't come back, within 300 milliseconds. So there are ways to educate ourselves and train ourselves. And yeah, I just find that really intriguing. I think we will realize that more in the coming years. And I think even Sam Altman, for example, who's obviously one of the figureheads of AI right now, he's kind of preaching that. He's like, AGI will happen quicker than you think. And then people will just go on about, their own business, It's a very intriguing, perspective.
Yeah, making a full circle.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that to the conversation. I'm thinking about that a little bit these days.
Yeah, I understand. I understand totally. And I think we've seen that. I mean, I do a lot of product testing with Clue, so I can see the firsthand how users are interacting or where they are failing or where we are failing. And I can see how important is that, I mean, in this case, like onboarding and all the materials and teaching actually them how to properly use it, and how much that actually is helping us, even though it's a much longer process.
Yeah. But you don't have the resources on board, do you? Yeah.
Sorry?
You don't have the resources. When I heard Alexander talk about resources on board, I mean, resource of doing it, you're going to have to bring it. You're really in using the term AGI. I think of that as automatically generated intelligence. Okay, so our picture meaning.
Yeah, seems like.
Oh, it looks like you lost Bill.
We lost Bill.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Probably something happened, but yeah.
It's AGI.
Right now.
All right.
maybe
Well, we're
not.
at the top of the hour anyway here.
Yeah. So, folks, does anyone have any other questions?
No, this is
Okay.
great. Thank you for the presentation, Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you. And we continue, I guess, in Slack, and I'll try to send all the materials so you can check it out more in depth. Otherwise, thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you, Max, for reaching out and we will stay in touch for sure. And then if you try Clue or test it out, if you stumble off the problems or you like it, share it with me so I can share it to the world.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, please share some additional info on Clue in our Slack share your thing channel. So we do have a dedicated channel where you can drop the information about your product. And since like the majority of our community are product people, I think a lot of people would find Clue interesting to at least do their research on. So yeah, that should be.
We are also searching for the product manager. If it's just saying that,
and
if someone is interested,
and
I will add that to Slack.
Yeah, and we do have a Find Collaborators channel for that as well. So yeah, feel free to drop your description like of the job that you have there as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining the call. See you in Slack. And yeah, Sandra, thank you very much for this presentation. Been awesome.
Thank you guys, and have a lovely weekend though.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.